Good afternoon, everybody. If you'll indulge me a second, I'm going to start off and read this for y'all. So, first of all, we want to express our sincere condolences to the victim's family. A person lost their life yesterday morning, and we think it's important to keep focus on that as we talk about this tragic event. We're deeply saddened for everyone affected, especially the victim's family. That being said, we love Henry Ruggs and want him to know that. His terrible lapse in judgment of the most horrific kind. It's something that he'll have to live with the rest of his life. The gravity of the situation is not lost on anyone here, and we understand and respect the loss of life. And with that, I'll try to take your questions.
Rich, if there's any way that you can kind of put into words the emotions of these last couple of days, getting a call that you probably never want to get, and then also the decision to move on from Henry as quickly as the organization did.
To be perfectly frank, I don't really know if I can put into words the emotional feelings that, certainly I went through, and certainly I can't speak for our players or our coaches or our owner, our organization. I just know for me as a parent and a person that cares about young people and deals with young people every day, I really don't know if I could quantify what the emotions are. So with that being said, I think late last night or late yesterday afternoon, as time went on and the organization gained more information, I think you read our first statement, but I think as we all gained more information, certainly as Mark gained more information, I think our team, official team, met upstairs, and I think we came to the conclusion, and owner Mark thought it best for the organization to do that at that particular time. So I think there's two separate entities. There's Henry Ruggs, the football player, which is no longer a part of the Raiders, and then Henry Ruggs, the person who is certainly going through what he's going through and is going to have to pay the consequences for the actions.
Between John Gruden's resignation and this situation, the locker room has been through a lot. I know it's only been a day, but how have you seen the group sort of pull back together kind of in these challenging moments and attempt to move forward?
Well, I think they're two totally separate, entities, and so I felt like we moved on from what happened before, and we've had a chance to play 2 games, and now we've been confronted with this situation. And again, as grown men, we all have to respond in a certain way. We're all forging our identity in life, and certainly in the locker room, through how we face adversity and how we deal with adversity. That's kind of how life goes. So I think they understand that. We've had conversations about that, and for us as coaches and players, it's always good to get on the grass and grind through a Wednesday's practice in full pads, and now I'm here answering questions.
You've made a life and a living out of game planning, preparing for lots of variables, but this is as unpredictable as adversity gets. How helpless is that as a leader?
There's no blueprint for this. There's no handbook that they give you for the obstacles that you occur, whether you're a parent, whether you're a teacher, whether you're, my dad drove a truck. So there's no blueprint for these things. And I just think we all lean on each other in there. There's a lot of other coaches that we have on staff that have a lot of experiences. We have players that have gone through other things. So I think we've done a good job of communicating with each other. We've tried to give the best resources that we have to our players within Montel and Miss Jean and people at in their department, and then certainly what we've done as coaches. So again, we'll see how we respond to the situation we're in.
Coach, on the back end of that, even despite the tragic incident, how much of this can you turn this around also, like for you as a coach, but also the leaders in the locker room? How much will this be able to stress accountability amongst each other to really just hold each other accountable and make each other the best players possible on and off the field?
Well, we are involved in man building around here, and we do coach the man first and the player second. And again, we've talked about these things before they've happened. at length. I'm sure every team does, but again, put himself in a bad situation, made a choice that has certainly altered his life, and that's really where we're at. So I think they all know that. I think they've seen that. But we've seen it before, and obviously it caught up to us now. So I don't really know if I answered that, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Have you gotten a chance to talk to Henry?
No, actually, no, we have not. I don't even think anything happened until 9 o'clock this morning, so we weren't allowed to, or didn't have a chance to speak with him at all yesterday.
If you could speak to him, what would you say?
Yeah, I'll just leave that to when that happens.
Coach, when you gathered the team either last night, I guess it was virtually, or today, around what was the mood, and how much of this week is managing them kind of, coming to grips with everything, but also getting ready for a game, and how do you kind of balance that?
Yeah, well, the first time we actually got our team together yesterday, late afternoon at 4 o'clock, we had a Zoom with the whole team. We thought it was important that we get on Zoom so they could kind of see our faces, see my face, and we tried to deliver a message. And at that particular point, what we wanted to do, there was so much misinformation out there. We were getting so many different stories that what we wanted to do was give them the facts that we had at that particular time. So if you go back to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's what we did, to give them some sense of what's going on. Here's what I'm hearing. A lot of players were texting and coming by the office and those things. So that's what we accomplished. And then certainly what transpired last night went into the release of Henry. And then this morning's team meeting, we addressed kind of what happened last night. We addressed some of the new information that had come out, which we thought would all come out at 9 o'clock this morning, which I think has. So they got a chance to see that. And then we just talked about what our charge is going forward, individually and then collectively, how we can put it together for a grinded competitive practice on a Wednesday, and what it'll look like in the meeting after practice, and then what it's going to look like when you go home. What does it look like when we come back in the morning? So we're just trying to stay, for the most part, we're trying to be where we are and move through this as slowly as we possibly can, and as communicative with some clarity as to what we're expecting of each other as we keep moving forward.
What's your emotions been like over the last couple of days?
My emotions have been on a roller coaster, so to speak, this year, and my heart goes out so much. Try and say it with a straight face, because I've already been emotional about every bit of this, but to the family, to all the families involved, no one ever wants to see this, whether it's a football player or not. You never want to see something like this happen, and it broke my wife and I's heart, honestly. And we talked about it a little bit, but I can only talk about it so much, But at the same time, whether it's fair or not, I have to compartmentalize, and I have a job to do. These are two totally different situations. Some similar emotions, some very different emotions. But the message has to stay the same. Honestly, I don't want it to right now. If I'm selfish, I don't want it to. I want to say a lot of different things. But we have a game this week, and I've got a job to do, and so do the guys in that locker room. And from that aspect, from a football aspect, I hate to talk about both in the same thing, but it's weird, and that's what we're doing, right? From a football aspect, every man in that locker room kind of feels the same way, but we have work to do. We had to come out and practice. We had film study Monday and Tuesday. We have, all of these things that we still have to do, right? And so I don't know the right way to handle it, but I'm doing my best.
You've made a career out of game planning against difficult situations, but inexplicable tragedy doesn't really have much of a game plan. How helpless is that as a guy who wants to control?
Yeah, just for me personally, in my own life, I've experienced loss, and so I know that feeling, and so my heart first goes to the families that are involved. Okay, when there's things that happen in life for all of us that we don't have control over, and you wish you did. I have 1,000 questions I wish I could ask, you know, but I don't get those opportunities, you know. I don't understand everything and why certain things happen, and I just forever have relied on the foundation of who I am is my faith, and I'm going to stand on that when it's hard, and I'm going to stand on it when it's easy, and that's just who I'm going to be when I can control something and when I can't. And so when it comes to this situation, you know, there's so many things out of our control, but then I do sit back and I think, you know, was there something, did I not let him know that he really could, I'd be there for him at 3 a.m. You know, I want to be better, you know. I think I really look at everything in my life as a learning experience. Could I have been better, you know, to help or something? You know, I just wish I could have done something. You know, I look at it that way. Could I have done anything to help? You know, even when it seems impossible, is there any little thing I could have done better? You know, and I know it's a crazy thing to even think or say, but I'm always looking at trying to be a better person.
What was yesterday like for you? Just kind of when the news started trickling out.
It was emotional. For, you know, when I see things, it's weird when you have kids, how things can be a little bit more emotional than they used to be. That's for sure. Now that I have 4, you know, of my own, instantly my thoughts go to certain places and things like that. And it's hard. It's not easy. I can promise you that. It is a tragic thing. And again, I know as most of you probably even know more than me, you know, but I know as much as I've seen or heard. But I really don't know the right thing to say to somebody. You know, I try my best to be there in support of someone or be there for anybody if I knew who to be there for and all those things. But, you know, my thoughts, I guess, selfishly went to my own kids or my own family, and you know, how do I teach them? How do I take this and turn it into a learning experience? You know, and things like that, because no one, including Henry, wanted this to happen.
Before the bye, we had asked about, is it a good time for the bye when you're playing so well and everything else? And you said, we haven't really had a chance to process with John and everything else.
Yeah.
Now, you still haven't really, I guess, had that chance, and now something else happened. So, like, how does that process kind of go now? And you got to be on the field in a couple of days.
Yeah, I just don't get that chance, you know. Again, life's not fair. It's a good learning experience for my boys and my little girl that I'll teach them. Life is tough sometimes, and it's not fair, and it doesn't care sometimes. But you're going to hold true to what you believe, and you're going to hold true to who you are, and you're going to be that person whether it's easy or it's not. And that's the standard that I'm going to hold my children to, and that's the standard I hold myself to. If I can't do it, then how can I tell them to do it, you know? And so it's hard sometimes. Life sucks, and it's hard, but I can assure you life is a lot more difficult for some other people today than it is for me.
Have you had a chance to talk to Henry yet?
No. Honestly, with what we were told, I just didn't know if we were able to. Haven't reached out. I will always be here for him. That won't change, and I'll prove that over the course of time to him, not to anybody else. But he needs people to love him right now. He's probably feeling a certain type of way about himself right now, and he needs to be loved. And if no one else will do it, I'll do it.
Between compartmentalizing things and being human,
Yep.
how tough is this just to navigate as, you know, the quarterback you're facing, the franchise, the team leader?
It's hard. If I'd be lying to you if I was like, oh, it's easy. You know, I don't think that at all. It's not. I've always been honest with you guys, and it's not easy. You know, because I love people. I care deeply about people. I mean, there's people in this room that know that for sure, that I've had conversations with sitting at a table, because I just care about people, you know. And this one hurts, you know, because, again, it really affects some families, and it affected some lives, you know. And that hurts me, hurts my heart, because I know that there's pain, I know there's shame, I know that there's anger, probably, all those feelings that no one ever wants to feel or have towards them. I know that it's all there, and that's hard. You you know, when you feel everything's coming crashing on you, I've had those feelings, you know, and having people to love you and support you is what helps the most. You know, you can't do it alone, and so it's not easy, you know, being a quarterback and being human. You know, I wish there was a certain way or someone to tell me this is exactly how you do it, because it'd be a lot easier. I think I got a good grasp on how to handle it, but it doesn't make it easy to do. You know, doing things the right way it sounds easy, but it's not easy to do, right? And so I'm trying my best. And again, maybe sometime in the off season I'll have time to think about all this. I will tell you, I walked by and I saw Henry's locker today, and for whatever reason that got me. You know, like he's not going to be there. You know, not because he's fast, not because of what he could do for me, but because of the person that he is and because I love him. And he literally texted me at midnight, golf swing, me and Hunter, how's my swing look? You guys need to help me, and bro, just seeing that and then getting the news when we woke up, I don't even know how am I supposed to handle that? How am I supposed to react? And I'm trying my best, I'm doing my best, but I do know that God is good, and I'm going to believe that He can change situations and do things that we just can't comprehend sometimes. And I'm going to continue to believe that. My kids will believe that, and we'll keep preaching that even when people don't like it.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.